Welcome, wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for fans, and we appreciate you joining us for episode 17. I'm your host, representing the old school wrestling fan, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Andy.
And I'm also your host, the no-selling wrestling indie fan, Jeremy.
All right, guys, we got another great show for you today. We're going to be talking about AJ Styles and Grayson Waller. Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly teaming up, but this time in a different company, the Day One Premium Live event, and more. Before we get started, if the fans of the show could take a minute and please like and subscribe to the PW Fan on YouTube, where we have full episodes available, and we're actually going to be getting video content as well posted soon. And if you can, please leave a review on Amazon or rate us on Spotify with that Meltzer 5-star rating. It really helps us out. It goes a long way for us. Just get on there and click it. It would mean so much. For t-shirts, go to prowrestlingtees.com/the PW Fan to get your pocket logo shirt and become part of the PW Fan crew in 2022. And last but not least today, we got a big intro today. Thank you to One Stop Wrestling for being today's sponsor. Go to onestopwrestling.com for wrestling news, updates, interviews, and more. All right, boys, let's start the show. Andy, you take it from here.
All right. First, I want to start off by correcting myself from last week's episode when I was talking about AJ and Omos breaking up. They were not a part of a gauntlet match before they broke up. They had just a regularly scheduled tag team match against the Mysterios. So I think I got that mixed up with another gauntlet match that was on a different show later in the week, but just wanted to clear that up. Starting with Raw, though. We had Street Profits beat the Mysterios in the finals of the RK Bronament. So at day one, it's going to be the Street Profits versus RK Bro, which was added to that list of matches. Also later in the night, AJ Styles comes out to the ring and he starts talking about Omos and their breakup. All of a sudden, he spots Grayson Waller in the crowd and he invites Waller to come into the ring. They do a little bit of a, promo back and forth. Grayson saying that AJ came to his show. He figured he'd pop up on AJ's show and that he likes Monday Night Raw. Maybe he'll want to stick around, he says. But I wasn't sure where this was going. And like I said, I know we don't really cover NXT, but I'm going to talk about what happened with connection with AJ Styles and Grayson Waller. Is that the next night after this Raw, AJ pops on the Titantron, and I didn't think they were going to end up doing anything with these two, to be honest, but they've added a match between AJ Styles and Grayson Waller to this coming Tuesday's New Year's Evil. I guess you can't really call it a pay-per-view because it's on TV, but yeah, so I thought AJ showing up at NXT was just a one-off, but apparently they're at least doing a minor program out of it between these two guys. So if you're interested in NXT, that could be a good match.
And one
any thoughts on this whole AJ and Grayson Waller thing?
I thought it was kind of interesting. It's kind of something different, like you said. Like, we didn't think anything was going to happen, and now AJ is popping up in NXT, which I find kind of cool. It's a different environment for him, and also it's just someone fresh for him, really. Because WWE has a habit of doing a million rematches in a row of the same people. So that's kind of cool to see a fresh feud, kind of.
I agree. I think it's cool to see AJ in a different environment, away from Omos for a little bit, and he's doing something different. And I think it's smart on their part to put one of their biggest guys on this new show, and they want to get eyes on the product, and it's not a bad idea. Plus, AJ's great. He's going to have a great match if they end up going that route. Part of me just wishes that they had done this more back in the black and gold era, because there's so many in my head. There's so many amazing dream matchups from a few years ago that would have been just bangers. But this is still cool, though. It got me to tune back into this new NXT show, which I have been lackluster at lately. So yeah, I mean, it did what it intended. It's getting people to tune in.
Do you guys think they're holding off AJ versus Omos to like WrestleMania or something like that? It's only a little bit away.
I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see that. I don't know about you
No,
guys.
and I think we mentioned it last week. I don't want to see it either. Yeah, I'd rather see it, some other time, either before Mania, but I wouldn't like to see it at WrestleMania. I feel like, AJ could have a better feud, someone else on that, big stage.
Someone else like Edge.
Please.
Let me
Hopefully
ask
one day.
Now let me ask you this though. If you're a kid and you're heavily invested into the WWE product and storyline, and you're like, I don't know, 10, 11, maybe you're not, maybe you're a little smartened up, but not to the point that like obviously like we are. Maybe do they want to see AJ versus Omos? Like, is it a big deal to them?
I
Like,
feel
oh
like
my
they
gosh,
do. I really.
So I get that we're possibly a different demographic than what they're going for with this type of thing, but I'm trying to see it through their eyes too. Like if, for instance, I'm trying to think of like, I don't know, like Psycho Sid and Shawn Michaels. Like when I was a kid, I was I remember that, but then at the same time, like if that happened now, I'd be like, I don't know if I really want to see that. So I think it's all about where you are in your fandom too. That would make you into maybe a match like this.
Yeah, I agree. So later in the night, though, we had Miz and Maurice renewing their wedding vows, and the, I guess, moderator for it, you could call him, was Eric Bischoff. Now, this guy just goes from company to company like it's no problem. It's always cool to see him on TV.
Easy E, baby.
But yeah, so he's moderating this. Then Edge comes out, and he's pretending to scare Miz like something's gonna go wrong. But as we all know, wedding themed events on WWE TV never go smoothly. And so at the end, I believe it was the end of the show, Edge dumps a brood bath on them in the middle of the ring and walks out. So it seemed like a little tease for maybe he'll do something brood-wise at the Day 1 pay-per-view, which we'll get into at the end of this podcast. But I think right before he wrestled Rollins at SummerSlam, the last Raw before the pay-per-view, he had done something just like this to Rollins with the brood bath. So, and then at that SummerSlam, he came out with the brood entrance. So it just makes sense if that were to happen later. But yeah, what you guys feel about Eric coming back?
I found it really funny. Like I think you texted us during that, and you were like, "I think Bischoff's the only guy who could do this," because he was literally, was it a couple months ago or a little bit more than that on AEW, and then he's talking to Tony Khan apparently every day, but now Tony, I guess, doesn't call him back, so he went to WWE now. So I guess that's just how he works.
This isn't the first time that Tony Khan may or may not have said something that got him in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. We're actually not going to get into that on the show today. Just in case anybody's like waiting for that, we're just not getting into it. But I will say, I love Eric. I'm a big listener of 83 Weeks. Him and Conrad, I think, do a great show where they cover, in the beginning of the show, they used to cover different things from WCW, and Eric would give insight on what happened on that day and blah, blah, blah. There's some funny episodes. One in particular to look for is the Sting Starrcade 97 where he showed up with no tan. Him and Conrad getting a big fight. It's pretty funny. But so I love Eric. I was happy to see him back. It was super cool. My thing with the wedding segment, though, is like, how come they can't just make red blood? Like, does the black make a difference? I know that they don't do red because they think it's like too whatever, but it's like, does it? Do you think it's that much more graphic if it was red?
It's not PG, I don't think. That's why, or they try to make it seem like it's not as graphic or something. Probably.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I saw blood on WWE television.
Yeah, but it's like,
and if they do, it's very rare.
Yeah, I don't know. See,
you got to think they changed War Raiders' name to Viking Raiders because war was too violent.
Yeah. Well, they can't have any war names in here in this wrestling.
They're changing things like that.
Yeah, I get it. I guess sometimes in my fandom I'm jaded because I'm just like, okay, so you changed the color. What's the big deal? But I'm sure there's logistics. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'm sure it's only one man's decision, so I'm sure we can all guarantee that.
We're gonna make them black blood.
So that wraps up Raw, though. Coming up next, we had Dynamite from this week, and they called it New Year's Smash. So starting it off, a big return for JR. You know, they actually gave him an entrance to come out to the table.
The man.
That was awesome.
And I believe he said he's cancer free. So
Woo!
Congratulations to him. Glad to hear he's in good health.
Jeremy, edit in the thing with the little kids where it's all like, yay!
Yeah, I did in like a crowd noise for us. I'll just take WWE's crowd noise and put it in for us.
Yeah,
there you
go. So our opening contest was I believe 10-man tag team match. Matt Hardy, Private Party, and FTR versus Jurassic Express, Christian Cage, and the Lucha Brothers. In the end, the winners were Matt Hardy, Private Party, and FTR. God, I see matches like this. I'm like, man, AEW loves their multi-men tag matches.
It's a way to use a bunch
of
guys. I gave them a break
for this show because it was like their last,
yeah,
it was their last TNT show. So I think it was just a way to just put everyone on there. Because there was like I don't know how many more multi-tag matches in this show, but
the next match is a multi-man tag as well.
Yeah. So I was just like, well, it's the last TNT show, so they're just throwing everything at it right now. And then they say they didn't have Bryan Danielson or Page on this show, right? Yeah, because they just had video packages. So,
no, it was just a video package later on for their rematch.
Yeah. So they were. I mean, this match was. I mean, it was pretty good for an opener. Jungle Boy or Jurassic Express, I should say, because Luchasaurus is also very over. Hopefully, they're going to be tag team champions at some point soon.
Have they ever? They've never become tag champs yet, have they?
No, because I think they were waiting for crowds to come back to push them because they really need the crowd, especially Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
I like that. This is like such a minor thing, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference. I like that Jungle Boy wet the hair. Adds like an edge to him. I know that sounds silly, but like it does. It like makes him a little bit more gritty looking. I like that.
Well, all your favorite guys back in the day wet their hair, so it makes sense if you were kind of into that.
Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler. I mean, I'm a barber, hair, man. Yeah. I'm a barber. Yeah, dude, I do love wet long hair.
And Triple H was big on it back in the day.
Oh yeah,
dude, he's the OG, man. Well, no, I would say Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, Brett used to do the wet hair. That was his jam. No, but I just think sometimes when you have like the big like poofy hair and it's like flying around, it makes you look like it's more youthful. You know what I mean? Like, and when you kind of like,
I can see that.
It just adds like kind of like a grittier edge to you. Like he came out looking more serious. I felt like it was less like, oh, look, it's Jungle Boy, and more like, yeah, Jungle Boy's coming out to like beat some ass. You know, I don't know. It just changed my perception a little bit.
Yeah,
I really think that little things like that with your character go a long way. Facial expressions, little changes that, like, I don't know. It's in the long run. I think the details help.
Alrighty. After that, like we said, there was another multi-man tag match. This
That's
one
my
was
favorite.
6-man. It was Proud and Powerful.
My favorite thing that you do. Alrighty.
Who, me?
Yeah, you say alrighty.
It's even funnier when Tim makes a joke and then you're just like, all right.
Like, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so after our 10-man tag match, we had another multi-man tag match. This one was a 6-man tag. It was Proud and Powerful teaming up with Eddie Kingston going against 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Winners in the end were 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. They attack afterwards, and then out comes Jericho to help them out. Afterwards, I mean, he runs out with a bat, and he doesn't, I don't think he even hit anyone with it. But, yeah, Eddie Kingston, there seems to be some tension between him and Eddie Kingston. I don't know if Eddie was saying something along the lines of, like, he didn't need him or something like that, if you guys remember.
Yeah, they were screaming at each
like
other in the ring. They didn't have a mic, but
Jericho came to help, and Eddie Kingston was basically like, "I don't need your help. Go away." Basically.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, do you guys think this is, maybe we see a feud of Eddie and Jericho later?
I mean, I think
Yes.
so. It feels like Jericho. I think Tim, you said this to me before, that the reason
This
why
is what he
stays,
does.
relevant
He's
is
the
because he jumps
master.
on each person. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just like Eddie Kingston's like the popular thing now, and then Jericho. Yeah,
Eddie, yeah. When Nick Gage after
Yeah,
Dark
but
Side of the Ring, it
Jericho
got
was
hot for a second. He was like, "All right, I'm doing a Nick Gage match."
well. Jericho was out for a little bit, right? Just a couple weeks or so. This was like his first time appearing on TV
yeah, he was on
since
tour with Fozzy.
since what getting attacked. But yeah, well, he went on tour with Fozzy, but he was taken off television because he got attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia, didn't
Yeah, yeah, that's right. They wrote him
Okay.
on TV for a little bit. Yeah,
he? Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see where this goes. So then we had a backstage segment with MJF, Sean Spears, and Wardlow. Honestly, I can't remember what was talked about backstage. I do remember there being more tension with Wardlow and MJF and
yeah.
Sean Spears.
He made the
I
joke
would
about,
only
like,
assume that MJF.
MJF made the joke about stop doing so many power bombs, or he called it something funny. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, because last week Wardlow's match was he did 4 power bombs
Yeah.
in a row and destroyed that guy. But I'm sure MJF said something about CM Punk as well backstage, but I think the focus was more on the Wardlow stuff. And oh, now I remember. Sorry, guys. It was about Wardlow signing a contract, and any belts that he earns or rings, they all just go to MJF.
That's right. Yeah.
And so they were forcing him to
as well.
Yeah. So anything, that's what's Wardlow's is MJF's pretty much.
Yeah.
So that led us into a backstage segment with Lucha Brothers, Jurassic Express, and Christian Cage. And then we had a match which was Wardlow versus, never heard of the guy, but Colin Delaney. And Wardlow made quick work of this guy. He smashed him. And then I believe Sean Spears, had to add the finishing touches after the pin had already gone down.
He was on the ramp this time walking back, and then Sean Spears looks at him and just hits him in the back of the chair, or back of the head with the chair. I was like, okay.
Just a little love tap. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Sean Spears sucks.
So yeah, we talked about it before. I mean, yes, I knew that was coming.
Every time.
Yeah, so we've talked about this. I mean, Wardlow eventually they're gonna be putting Wardlow in that spot, almost like that Batista spot back in the day when he first left Evolution. I mean, I think fans are getting behind him more and more. I think they see the writing on the wall with him leaving MJF eventually. So just have to see where it goes. Some of that long-term storytelling.
And it's going to be kind of finally he turns on him, so then everyone's going to be so excited. It's such a slow burn.
Well, maybe he gives MJF his first singles match loss.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he doesn't have a loss.
Or a clean loss. He's never lost cleanly in the ring. So that led to a backstage segment with Adam Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly, and the Young Bucks. And after that, that segment, they were just pretty much talking about the main event later in the night, which is going to be Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and O'Reilly versus Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. There's still some tension with the Bucks and Adam's friends that have come into the company now. But after that segment, we had one of our favorites, which is Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year. Okay. So I remember you guys texting in the group chat during this segment. Because while Dan Lambert's talking, he's cracking all these jokes. Brandy Rhodes comes out. She makes some jokes, but they just fall flat. No response from the crowd. Tim, you texted. You were just like, God, Brandy sucks. And She said that she'll fight Dan Lambert, and then Dustin Rhodes comes out, and I think he gets attacked, if I'm not mistaken, while he's out there.
Yeah, he does.
Or okay, yeah. So, do you guys even want to talk about this segment in particular? I know you guys were not fans of it. I don't think anyone in the arena was.
Brandy Rhodes used the same line that she said that one time against Jade, I think it was. When she was like, "Who told you it was open mic night?" When she first.
Oh, that's how she came out.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. Well, you're using the same line. I'm like, I get that's a throwback, but it wasn't even that long ago. But I don't know. The only thing I thought was funny was the first line when she was called him was it a lesser version of Paul Heyman, and he was like, I like Jim Cornette better.
That was funny. Yep, yeah. I like that.
And then after that, I didn't really care.
I was not crazy about the segment, to be honest with you guys. I don't know. I really thought that we were going to be done
very
with
surprising.
this whole...
I would have thought you would love it.
Well, I just thought we were going to be past all of this by now. You know? I don't know.
I think everyone else did too.
Clearly this dude... All this is, and it's pretty much been this from the beginning, is this dude. So they can't get Jim Cornette, so this is the guy that basically fills the role to take that kind of heat.
I guess.
You think that's the reason?
I think that I think Tony probably thinks that it would be funny to have a character like Jim. But obviously, they can't get the real Jim. It's never going to happen. So,
Tony Khan, man, as Dan Lambert says.
That was funny. The first two times he said it, I'm like, I don't care anymore.
It's every week now, dude. It's every time. Oh. Tony Khan, man. Tony Khan, man.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about this. There's a few things on the Dynamite Rampages shows. You know what? I feel like in the last few episodes, I'm sounding like a Debbie Downer. But I feel like the only thing I don't like is Sean Spears, Dan Lambert. I've pretty much tapped out on Orange Cassidy, and really, I don't feel like I complain about anything else. You know, and then those are three I think fair.
At least the Matt Hardy Orange Cassidy stuff is done.
Yeah, I mean, look, Orange Cassidy is either your cup of tea or, well, yeah, right. He's gonna jinx it. Matt Hardy's and Orange Cassidy are gonna feud all of 2022, but. Look, Orange Cassidy is either your cup of tea or if he isn't. I thought it was funny for a while. Now I'm just kind of like, okay. But other than that, I don't really feel like I'm that critical of the show overall.
No, and again, it kind of brings us back to the AJ Omos stuff. You know, there's people out there that's what they want to see. They like Orange Cassidy a lot. I mean, I'm sure his shirts are one of the top sellers in the company.
Well, Andy,
then you have other fans that's just not their cup of tea.
For instance, when Goldberg came back in 2003, we thought, to me, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I'm sure at that time there were fans that were our age now that were like, yo, Goldberg sucks. He's not a good worker. You know, blah, blah, all the Mark shit that people say.
Yeah.
But as kids, we were like, no, this is going to be amazing. So, you know, there's probably through a kid's eye, you know, they probably see Omos versus AJ and think, oh, this will be great, you know, and they're excited for it. It's all perspective. And I'm trying, especially for the show, to kind of see things through other people's eyes, you know?
Well, the Goldberg stuff in 2003 did not end up being amazing. It ended awfully at WrestleMania with him and Brock.
He had a pretty couple... They're very critical of his matches with Triple H, which, if you go back and watch them, honestly, they're not that bad. I think he's too hard on himself.
He had so many, and he won one.
Well, I mean, that's because Triple H was in his run of dominance. Evolution.
It was cool. It was cool to see him in the Elimination Chamber, and he speared Jericho through the chamber. I remember the second ever.
That was one of the best ones, I think.
Yeah.
It was stacked. Yeah. So yeah, after that Dan Lambert segment, we had a rematch video package for this upcoming Dynamite, which will be the first Dynamite on TBS for now on. Rampages are staying on TNT, I believe, but Dynamite will now be on TBS. And so they had a rematch video package for Hangman Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson, which will be on that show. I mean, lately they've been doing these kind of matches as like openers, but it couldn't main event. But now I don't even know what the way they go anymore.
Maybe on TBS they have a more lenient way of like going over the 10 p.m. slot, since it's not like sports on that.
Yeah,
show.
you could. Yeah, never know. But that'll be an exciting match. I'm looking forward to that. Their first hour-long match they did was really good, so it might be hard to top, but we'll see. Hopefully we actually get a winner this time. That's all I really want, instead of a draw. But, tune in this Wednesday and you'll find out.
Like the fuse.
After that, though, we had Dynamite! So after that, we had the semifinals match for the TBS tournament. It was Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill. And your winner was Jade Cargill. Then a masked woman attacks Thunder Rosa afterwards, and it is Mercedes Martinez. Now, I know she popped up in Impact.
So the
crowd went wild. Was that so?
They didn't go wild.
There was like, I know. There was. I was listening for reaction. There was like no reaction with them at all. She was an Impact though. I mean, she's not like considered all elite right now. She just is crossing over, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, really?
They haven't announced that she's. Have they announced that she's all elite? I mean, I didn't see any post or just that she, debuted on Dynamite, but.
Yeah, wasn't it like a re-debut?
I know
because she was with them when they first started, I thought. And then she went to WWE.
Was she? Because she was part of that mass group for a little bit with Mason T-Bar.
That's a horrible idea.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that was during the quarantine and lockdown.
It was pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, oh God.
It was rough. So yeah, once Mercedes Martinez is revealed, then Ruby Soho comes out to help Thunder Rosa. But so it looks like the finals came down to what I called. I don't remember what you guys called, but I said it was going to be Ruby and Jade. And I still think Jade takes it all the way. So
I'm going with Ruby this one.
I don't know if it's been announced when the final is, but
yeah, I don't know.
I would expect it to be sometime soon. Well, I mean, it would make sense if they do it this Wednesday on the debut of Dynamite on TBS for the TBS title to debut that night,
Yeah, because then their next pay-per-view.
If I was booking that shit, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
Dude, she's a star.
She's not my traditional, like, what I like. I'm all, I don't know. It's funny, like, I feel like I'm going to get the reputation, like, Tim only likes the guys who do the, old school working matches. I like good workers. But, I
You want to see real
also-
wrestling 1972.
Okay, it was Chicago, Flair, and Steamboat. All right, but no, I like Jade Cargill. I think she has a great look. She looks like a superstar. Looks like she could like power slam you. Like I don't know. She has a cool aesthetic to her, and I think if she just gets a little bit more ring time, she's gonna be awesome.
All right, yeah. So I guess we're just gonna have to see where that goes, but she hasn't lost yet. I know. Jade Cargill has not lost a singles match since her time there, so she's kind of on that MJF route. But after Ruby Soho had come out, we get a segment from CM Punk. All I can think about is Tim talking about his haircut. I don't even remember what was talked about during the promo. I mean, obviously it had to do with MJF in some way, and I believe it also had to do with going for the title eventually. Do you guys remember anything specific from his promo?
I know it's kind of hard after Tim was like, "Look at his haircut," and that's all I saw. But
that's all I could focus on.
That's all I could focus on. Okay,
thanks,
hang on. Let's explain to the people one thing, okay? I'm a barber by profession. All right, been doing it for almost a decade. It's an unfortunate thing now that no matter where I go, all I can notice is people's haircuts. It's horrible. I hate it. So the problem is, I'm looking at the television, and all of a sudden, CM Punk comes out with a slick back fade, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, oh, he got a haircut, and because it's as a barber, it's the first thing that I notice. So he comes out, and I'm like looking at his fade, and I'm like, oh man, there's a really bad line on the side of that fade. And then he turns around, and I notice that one side's kind of undercut and the other side's kind of blended. And I was just like, oh my god. So at that point, he's talking. I literally can't hear anything that he's saying. Like, all I can stare at is like what I would do to fix that haircut. So, Punk, you're the man. You get some cool haircuts that have inspired a lot of other cool haircuts. I don't know who that barber was, but bro, don't go back to that guy. Just get that clean fade. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what I think Punk actually said in the promo was that he was basically like, it was kind of weird actually, because he said that basically like MJF doesn't want to have a match with him or is scared and keeps running. And he just said, well, I'm just going to move on to things. And I was like, well, they're just going to end this? But then he said the thing about it'd be a shame if someone got in his way to, going for the title. So I feel like Punk's
right.
going to
Okay.
Follow him around in his matches then.
Yep.
And it was cool to see
So
him
after
in Daly's
seeing
place too.
Oh, and that brings me to this. Then he was talking about how he saw the Brody Lee tribute show from this place, from Daly's place, and it made him want to come to AEW.
Yeah, that was pretty
That's
cool.
how he opened up his segment. But after that, we had a Ricky Starks and Hobbs promo. I believe they were talking about Dante Martin a little bit. I don't think they were talking about Hook at all. That's all they should be talking about is freaking Hook.
They had that was on Rampage. I was going to say they had a video package, but that's on Rampage for him.
Yeah. So after that, then you had a promo video from Hikaru Shida. I still believe she's talking about Serena Deeb.
Yep.
This is one of those feuds in AEW that will not die right now. So
It's going to be the fourth match, I think, right?
It's like something like that.
Within like 2 months.
Yeah. Then we had an in-ring segment from Brian Pillman Jr., pretty much calling out Malachi Black, which you don't want to do. Lights go black. Malachi Black goes out there. Did he tap him out or kick him? I mean, it wasn't a match, but did he put him in submission or did he kick him? I don't remember.
I honestly can't remember. I just remember Tim was telling me that how Brian Pillman delivered that promo was kind of weird. Because he'd be like yelling very intense.
It was a little bit.
And then go back down.
I think he was trying to find an intensity that I just don't know if he kind of was going like a little too hard. Like it just was coming off a little weird.
And he's like, whoa, I'll tone it back. And he's like, that's too far toned back. And then bring it back up.
He's like, how could you attack me?
So yeah, after Malachi Black does that, though, lights go black. He goes to disappear, but they turn the lights back on too quickly because you can see him going through the tunnel still.
And then, it was pretty good by the commentary team. They're like, "Oh, he's playing mind games with them." I was like, "Oh, that was a good cover," but it was just really funny.
Nice save, guys. So then we had a promo from the Acclaimed, which I'm sorry, guys, I tune you out a lot whenever I see you on TV.
You don't like the Acclaim?
Nah, I'll listen to the raps when they come to the entrance, but I feel like they're always trying to be like too funny, and it's just getting old. But I like their matches. It's just some of their promos. I'm just like, you have the one guy that's like the hype man, and then the other dude that's like doing most of the promo work.
Yeah.
So then we had another promo, and this one was from Sting and Darby. I'm trying to think. Who are they going against
the
right now?
Just because
the
Acclaim
called
them out.
That makes sense. So yeah, they did an Acclaim promo, and then right afterwards they did a Sting and Darby Allin promo. So obviously both promos were connected with one another. Then we had a video package for Ty Conti and Anna Jay teaming up to face Penelope Ford and the Bunny in a street fight this coming Rampage. That led us to our main event, which I thought was really good. It was Adam Cole teaming up again with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly
Should we just call them
versus
Undisputed?
the Best Friends. Is that all they call them, just Undisputed?
No,
or should we?
That's
Until they change it,
Yeah.
until they give them a name, sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we basically have Undisputed Era facing the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Towards the end of the match, well, first off, I thought it was a really good match, but towards the end of the match, Kyle accidentally kicks Adam Cole. The Bucks come out to help secure the win. So your winners were Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. But because of that kick, Adam Cole left with the Bucks. He didn't celebrate in the ring with Fish and O'Reilly. So there's still that tension, maybe some manipulation on the Bucks side to pull Adam away from them. But what you guys think of this match and them being back together in the ring?
It was really cool to see them in AEW all together. It was kind of weird, actually. But yeah, they work so well together, and yeah, the match itself was really great. And I like how they continued that Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly having problems from WWE into here.
Like unfinished business, yeah.
So it was kind of cool. They don't just drop storylines when all of a sudden they leave a company.
No. They know the fans aren't idiots.
Yeah. So I was like,
in this company, at least, they know the fans aren't idiots.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And the Bucks and how the Bucks and Adam Cole left together. It's just like, it's great storytelling just to build up that tension. And it's like it flip flops each time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to
the tag team division better watch out for Red Dragon. So
yeah, that was also another cool entrance.
They came out to I don't know what their old music was, but the Titantron and music was all for that team.
Yeah.
They didn't come out as individual wrestlers.
That was really cool.
So yeah, what about you, Tim?
I thought it was awesome. I love Undisputed Era. So, I'm cool with it now.
Maybe you didn't like their opponents.
It was whatever. I just want them to get away from this. I just want them okay, you've done it. I don't want to see any more of it. But I'm excited for more Undisputed Era. What obviously I think they're going to go to is the Bucks versus Undisputed Era, and then it's going to be Adam Cole's going to have to make a choice between the two. That's just what if I had to predict what they were going to do. And then right now, it seems like the Bucks are trying to convince him that, you can't trust these guys. And so I think that'll be cool once they get away from Orange Cassidy.
The logical next step is to pair them up to go against, once Kenny returns, Kenny and the Bucks.
Yeah, but you never know.
So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know have you guys heard anything about his return or when?
I haven't heard anything.
No, yeah. I don't think there's a tentative date, I think it's whenever he's ready.
Yeah, because I know he had
as long as they can keep. Right? He had a bunch of what?
A bunch of
injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know he after, he lost the belt. No matter what, he was going to take time off anyway. So, but we'll have to see how this storytelling, if they can keep it up all the way until, Kenny comes back. So that wraps up Dynamite, though. SmackDown this week it wasn't a normal SmackDown. It was a New Year's special, which, because it took place on New Year's, so they weren't in an arena. They just did top 10 moments of 2021 for SmackDown. So I'm sorry, guys, I did not watch it because it was no new content. I know some of the stuff was the Bad Bunny match and I think Edge and Daniel Bryan and Roman at Mania, just things like that. But it was all stuff that you can just go to Peacock and go on their page and watch it all. Nothing new. So I didn't feel like there was nothing I really needed to cover or write down for it. Rampage, however, there was 2 matches I wanted to talk about. One was that tag match that there was a video package for that we just got done talking about. It was Ty Conti and Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny in a street fight. Your winners were Ty Conti and Anna Jay. These girls got bloody. There was thumbtacks. I think it was the first women's street fight in AEW, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to mention it.
Well, they had the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker one before, but
that was a non-sanctioned or whatever,
that was
right?
non-sanctioned, yeah.
Yeah. So whether this is your kind of style match or not, I just thought it was cool that it was a first for AEW.
Yeah.
No matter how you felt about the match, but if you guys want to talk about how you felt about the match,
I didn't expect this at all from the match because I was going in and I was like, all right, it's gonna be probably like decent. That's usually what all 4 of these women usually give. But I thought this was the best match on the show, like better than the Cody match.
The Bunny was covered in blood by the end,
and that was like actually pretty cool because
Ty Conti did too.
Yeah, her character was like all of a sudden like a psycho, then like covered in blood.
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
How about you, Tim?
Gnarly. It was gnarly. It was a little cray. I'm not a big hardcore wrestling fan. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. But
yeah, I
it
know.
was a little crazy.
But yeah, like you had mentioned, Jeremy, there was another match on that show, and this was the main event, which we had previously said before in the other episode when Dan Lambert had come on TV. He said that either Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page get the winner of Sammy and Cody, and Cody had won, and I guess Men of the Year went to go with Ethan Page to go up against Cody next. So the main event of Rampage was Cody Rhodes versus Ethan Page for the TNT Championship. Your winner was Cody Rhodes. I think he has a new shirt out. It's like heel. It's like a checkbox. It says heel, babyface, and then it's just under that is winner. And it uses what Dan Lambert calls his Transformers tattoo as the checkbox marker.
All right,
but,
that one got.
So what?
Me.
I mean, are we supposed to just?
Even the
when you said that about the Transformers.
Even the audience liked that one.
Yeah. What was that last week when he said it, or was that this week?
Was that on Dynamite?
He's every week now, so all of his promos are blending together.
Yeah.
I mean, he says the same thing every week. So.
But either way, yeah. Tony Khan, man. I'm like, all right, dude. But yeah, I mean, are we just supposed to think like Cody's not a heel, not a face? He's just the guy in between. He's just a winner out for himself.
I mean, that's
like the way. They're like, look, you're gonna boo me, but I'm not gonna pretend to be a babyface anymore. But I'm not a bad guy, hurting people, attacking people after the match. Kind of typical heel stuff.
Yeah,
he just wants to win, and Arn and his Glock want him to win too.
Yeah, I don't. Ever since
and I'll have Arn in
it. I can't look at him the same.
I'll have Arn and his Glock in my corner.
But what do you guys think about the match?
It was okay. It was decent. I think it wasn't anything special, really. That's why
I'm not that big of an Ethan Page fan. I've said it before.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to use like Scorpio Sky against Cody now for the title. I'm like, why would?
Oh, now he's going to get a shot because the one guy couldn't do it. So now,
because they
give
beat
the other
him
Man
up
of the Year
afterwards.
chance.
Like, so they're continuing. And I was like, all right, well, this is kind of pointless now.
Dan Lambert comes back next week. If you're a real champion, you'll take on Scorpio Sky too. Yeah. So that wrapped up.
Plot twist:
Rampage
Cody Rhodes
this week.
joins Dan Lambert.
Oh God!
See, that's what you got to do now. Do that now. I'm reinterested. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, but then you can't have Arn and Dan Lambert.
No, you get rid of Arn. Arn's the sympathetic.
Maybe he puts Arn in a concrete crypt.
No.
What?
No, you don't. You don't want to do that. You don't kill him. He just disappears.
For fans who don't know what I'm talking about, it's when the Undertaker put Paul Bearer in, basically killed him on TV. But
hey, he
didn't
kill
kill
him.
He wasn't killed.
If you think about it,
just made him disappear.
Yeah, if you think about it, Undertaker's killed many people on TV.
On live TV.
Yeah.
We didn't kill him. He just went away for a little while.
Just went away for a while.
Did he like strike someone with lightning before?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
God, what? He freaking like crucified Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
back
he's
in the
done.
day.
The Undertaker's done some stuff.
But yeah, that wrapped up Rampage. And normally with our new schedule, our recording schedule, we'd be ending there. But we actually got a pay-per-view last night, and that was day one.
Excuse me.
And so
it's a premium live event.
yes. Sorry, yes. I wanted to mention that, by the way.
Oh,
WWE is now not calling their pay-per-views pay-per-views. They are premium live
They're
events.
just so cool.
They're weird. WWE is weird as hell with some of these decisions sometimes. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Vince probably heard that somewhere, and he was like, you know what? We should call that our pay-per-views that. I'm like,
yeah, he didn't come up with that himself. Someone had to,
Yeah.
put in his ear, I feel like. He's like, but boss, they're not actually paying for it. He's like, it's a premium live event.
Which is like, how
So-
are they going to say that when they're like building up to it? They're like, on our next premium live event. It sounds weird.
It's going to be interesting. No more saying WrestleMania on pay-per-view. WrestleMania, premium live
It
event.
doesn't have the same effect.
Don't
Like if
twist
you're
it
cutting a
away.
promo and you're like, this Sunday on pay-per-view. Instead it's like, this Sunday you go on Peacock, you'll see a premium live event.
It doesn't work. Also, I like they use Triple H's voice as
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
as your promo.
Yeah, of course.
So with day one, I watched after it already aired. So because of that, I missed the kickoff show. Did you guys get to see the kickoff match?
Yeah. Tim, did you see
It was Cesaro and Ricochet versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. And the winners were Sheamus and Ridge Holland. So since I didn't watch it, I figured I would just pass it over to you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I did read like Ridge Holland broke his nose.
yeah, I was
think
going to say,
during
he
the
didn't
match.
finish the match.
Okay.
Which is made it kind of awkward because, obviously Sheamus and Holland were the heels in it. And so then when Holland broke his nose and they were like, all right, the doctor was like, he can't finish the match. So then he went to the back. So then it made this weird dynamic of Ricochet and Cesaro against Sheamus, who's the heel, but now he's like the underdog in the match. And so I other than that, though, it was a really good match. Cesaro and Sheamus worked really well together. And they always do, but I always like them facing each other rather than tag teaming.
Well, Ricochet's been popping up on matches more and more ever since he got moved to SmackDown.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It's kind of nice to see him.
Yeah, how about you, Tim? I know you're a big Sheamus fan.
Yeah, dude. I like
Or his work,
sounded
at least.
Sounded like Steve-O. Sounded like Steve-O there for a
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. Now I like I like Sheamus. He's cool. He's cool. I gotta find a better descriptive.
You say
word
he's
than
a
that.
cool?
Yeah,
he's a cool like Mario. No, he is very intense, and I like how everything that he does looks very physical, and that he's actually in a fight. Those are like my favorite things about him. I thought the match was.
Well, I'm sure him and Cesaro.
No, I think
I was just saying. I'm sure him and Cesaro together against each other was hard hitting and stuff and intense. Like,
oh
like
yeah,
you said, 'cause
and
Cesaro's a similar way.
yeah, and given the circumstances, I think they had the best match that they could. Really, I thought this whole pay-per-view, this whole premium live event was really good, except for one match. We'll get into it. There was one match that I was like, there's just something off about this, but keep going.
Really, I have two matches that I thought were weird.
Maybe I'm forgetting one.
But we'll get into it. So the opening match was my favorite match on the show. I think you guys might all agree too. It was the Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The winners were the Usos. These guys have never missed. I mean, these two pairs against each other have been put on kickoff shows and stole the show because it was the best match on the entire card.
It's crazy.
I mean, what an opener. This match was awesome.
Yeah.
And the Usos won with a 3D.
Yeah. And it's insane because they face each other like how many times, and it's still every single time you see it, they're like, "This is a 5-star match."
Yeah,
It's insane.
they're both teams are so good.
Yeah. That was a match of the night for me.
Yeah, that was the best match on the card as far as like an actual working standpoint, bell to bell. I loved it. I even texted you guys during it. I was like, man, the Usos are so good. Like, I think they're very underrated. Like, if they were in AEW facing some of those teams, man, there'd be some banger tag team matches.
I feel like they just can read each other, and they like as a unit they work really well together. They know where they need to be for each spot that they do. Especially when it's like a double team kind of spot.
Yeah, and I don't want to really, no offense to them, but I don't really want to see them as like a singles, you know? Like, I think they work just, I don't know. I think them as a tag team is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, we had Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso for a little while before Jimmy came back. But, I mean, and it's funny because when he went on his own for a little bit, he was never the talker during, like, when they were a tag team beforehand. And then he kind of came into his own. So that was kind of cool to see. But I definitely prefer them as a, team rather than singles, like you said. But after that match, we had Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. And your winner was Drew McIntyre. I want to point out that before Jeff Hardy got released, him and Drew were doing tag matches and teaming up against Baron Corbin, or Happy Corbin, and Madcap Moss. So I would think that this match maybe would have originally been a tag team match with those two teams against them. But
for the record, sad Corbin, way better, way funnier. I actually kind of liked it, to be honest with you.
Oh, the Corbin that's about to kill himself?
That's nice.
Dude, when he was just like, yeah, and then and then
I need $100.
And then she took all my money, and then after that I lost all my Bitcoin. Like, everything just kept going wrong for him. I thought that shit was so funny.
Now he's happy, man. His life's good.
No, happy.
He's
happy
got
Corbin
Madcap
sucks.
with him. So what do you guys think of the match, though?
This match went, I think, 10 minutes.
It wasn't very long.
Yeah. I thought it could have been
didn't think it was terrible. It was exactly what I thought it would be, though. Not much of a story was built around these two guys. I felt like it was, what can Drew do? Put him on this. He's been doing a little bit of feud with them. But, I mean, I think it was like a last-minute announcement, too, from like the previous SmackDown.
Right.
It didn't build over weeks.
And I think they said that Drew is taking time off now for like an injury or just having some time off.
His neck, he has a neck injury, and he worked through the match with the neck injury, actually, from what I read.
Yeah.
Tim, what are your thoughts? Was this one of the weird ones for you?
This is one of the weird ones for me. There's actually this is one of them, but you reminded me of this one. There's actually another one that I really didn't like. That was shortly after this.
Well, the next match after this one was RK Bro versus the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Winners were RK Bro. We had Migos for some reason sitting out there by the announcers.
That was random.
I tweeted during the show.
Random.
I tweeted during the show. I said, "Yo, Joe Budden about to run in with a steel chair because he hates Migos."
This match. I mean, both teams are really good. Randy Orton is so good still, even at his age. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everyone in these teams were really good. The match, I'm not saying was like amazing or anything, but it was a good tag team match. It was exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of RK Pro. I don't know if I'm the weird one, but I just never like get them, I guess. Or
dude, the crowd loves them.
I know, but I'm
that's
just
the
like,
thing.
Why? But Other than that, Randy Orton, yeah, he makes it look effortless, and he's like, what, 40 now? Or almost 40? I think it's in his 40s.
He's got to be over 40.
Yeah, he's in his 40s.
I'll look it up right now.
But yeah, he makes everything look so easy, and is like, he never misses a step, no matter what match he's in.
Randy Orton is 41.
41, yeah.
He's young still. AJ Styles is old.
He's young still.
One of the older people backstage,
Young,
talent-wise, but he's still young.
Yeah.
Guys are
AJ's like
so
40-something.
long
Sure.
now. Yeah.
Isn't Jericho like 50 now, too?
But yeah, what were your thoughts on this match, Tim?
Well, yeah. It's hard for me because Randy's great. Matt Riddle sucks. But it's...
Nah, Matt Riddle, that was great.
We'll have to get on a hot take on that at some point. Not tonight because we don't have time, but we'll have to get on a Matt Riddle debate.
Speaking of Riddle, though, he has been doing this thing with NXT 2.0 for MSK. He was discovered to be the shaman that they were looking for week after week. And so MSK lost their titles a little while back to Imperium. So this might actually be a good match, but what they've done is they've added a match to New Year's Evil. It's Matt Riddle teaming up with MSK against Imperium and Walter. Now Riddle and Walter in the ring is probably going to be really hard hitting. I would think. So that could be a good match. But yeah, you can catch that this Tuesday on NXT's Premium Live event. New Year's Eve.
Did we get paid for that? Did we get paid?
Only on Peacock.
So yeah, we could talk about Riddle another time, but the match after that tag match, the next match was Edge versus The Miz. Now, a couple of things. Edge came out to the Brood entrance. That's always cool. Yeah. And then his regular music hits. Maurice ended up getting involved in the match. She hit Edge with her purse. Because of that, Beth Phoenix comes out and distracts Miz. Edge goes for a spear. 1, 2, 3. I think it's pretty clear. It sets up for Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice. Thing I want to say about this match, guys, it was probably my least favorite match on the show. I did not think it was very good. Yeah. It hurts me to say that about the Edge match, but it's like I felt like they were filling time. Look,
this run of Edge.
This is great talker, but like, this is great talker, and he's faced a bunch of people, but I don't know him being paired up with Edge. Maybe some people just don't mesh well together in the ring, and it was blah to me. I don't know about you guys. It was my least favorite match, and I wanted to like it because Edge was in it, but I just couldn't.
It felt like a lot of like rest holds in this, which I was like,
yeah,
it's very boring when they do that. Like there's that style of WWE matches where they have those rest holds, and I'm like, ugh.
And this was that match for me. Yeah, this is the match I was talking about. And
this was the match that I thought was weird.
I really didn't think that you guys were gonna pick this one. I thought I was gonna be the bad guy, but yeah, this match was weird. I was like, come on. It's one of those things with like Edge, man. Like I try so hard. I'm like, dude, I want to like it. It's going to be good. And like, I'll force myself. And then I'm just like, nah, it's just not that good.
I tried and it felt like it dragged on because I was just not being interested in it. I was like, ah.
So do you think they do the Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice at WrestleMania then?
Unfortunately,
if they don't,
yes.
I'll be very surprised.
Yeah.
This is going to be the second time Miz has been in a tag match with his wife at WrestleMania. The other one was, John Cena and Nikki?
Oh, that's right.
And that's when he proposed to her afterward, I think.
Yeah, so I would just, you want to hear a good WrestleMania match? Edge and AJ. That's freaking show stealer. Book that shit.
And he's like been saying it for months. He's like Edge and AJ.
God, dude.
Why you do it?
All I want. I'll be fine with the Edge run. Just show me that.
Yeah.
So anyway, after the Edge and Miz match, we had the Raw Women's Championship match. It was Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Your winner was Becky Lynch. I thought the ending was a little weird. I almost didn't see it coming. I think something happened with Liv. She was sitting on the rope, and Becky Lynch did a pump handle slam from that sitting down position of the rope and just threw her down, kind of thing. But I don't know. I thought it was abrupt. It was quick.
Yeah, it was weird.
Sometimes you can see the ending build, and I just didn't see it build for that. But yeah, your winner was Becky Lynch. I don't know if they're going to continue any more of the program with Liv and her. But because I'm a fan of Liv Morgan, and so is a lot of the audience. You could tell they were into her. They also really like Becky too. So, but before, if she wasn't getting all these opportunities, I would have said that she's my pick for the women's Royal Rumble. Now I'm I don't know who else they've been pushing.
Yeah, I have no idea who else, because I really like Liv too, and yeah. I don't know. I have no idea who else they have right now in that position.
Yep. I heard Sable's coming back to F5. Everybody.
God. No, actually, Sable's teaming up with Brock to take on the Miz and Maurice and Edge and Beth.
It's a triple threat.
That would be so awful. I would hate that.
Well, speaking of Brock, that brings us to our main event. So, if our listeners don't know, Roman Reigns came down with COVID. He tested positive, which, for his what does he have? Leukemia? Or
yeah, he had leukemia.
He had leukemia, but it's blood cells are always compromised.
Yeah.
And so for him to get COVID, that was one of the reasons why he was away for so long before, was he wanted, the curve to go down, as you could say, for positive test results. But yeah, so I mean, it's actually probably kind of dangerous that he got it, but hopefully he'll be all right. But because of this, because him being out, not on the pay-per-view, well, you got Brock coming all that way. You got to put Brock somewhere in the card. You can't just fully cancel Brock appearance. He's like an event.
Happy Brock.
Some would say he's a premium live event, but but you got to put him somewhere. So what WWE did is they added him to the men's Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Championship, which was originally Bobby Lashley, Big E, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. Well, they made it a Fatal 5-Way. And yeah, let's get into the match. So your winner in the end and new champion is Brock Lesnar. I pointed out to you guys, this is the first time Lashley and Brock have ever been in the ring that I know of. I know it was one of the dream scenario matches.
That's insane.
At least one-on-one over years. Yeah. Early on in the match, Lashley spears Brock through the barricade. So Brock is down for a little while. I loved Seth and Owens working as a team. I thought they did it really well. One thing I will say is that Brock ended up F5ing Big E and pinned the champion for the win. Like I said before, Big E's run, God, it feels so bad for the guy.
Yeah.
I feel really bad.
You pinned the champion.
Yeah.
It almost felt like another Kofi incident.
Yeah.
They made Kofi's run lackluster, and Brock just
you see the picture of after the match? Did you any of you guys see the picture after the match of Big E on the side of the ring when Brock was walking up the ramp?
Yeah, he was
way after the match was over. Dude, it was sad as hell.
No, what was the picture?
It was just him sitting on the side. Brock's already halfway up the ramp. The match is over. He's already celebrating. And Big E's just, sitting there, just, bummed out. It's I feel bad for him. It sucks that...
The thing is, I like that Brock won. I just feel bad for Big E. I'm all here for Brock being champ.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, though, what would the result have been of the match if Brock wasn't added?
Well, there was that.
Would Big E have still lost?
The report
was
that Big E was going to retain then.
Really?
So that makes it even tougher then. So I'm like,
That's shocking to me. Okay, I didn't.
So
Yeah.
think about knowing that,
But-
and then something happens, and then you were gonna have this probably a WrestleMania moment, or at least something big coming up, and they had to switch it. I don't
What
know.
also
I
makes
just
me
feel
wonder,
bad.
though, is that because I thought the original plans for Roman and Brock were to continue it to Mania. So
Yeah.
now, what happens with those plans?
it's weird. Like, now I don't understand.
Do they
where go.
unify the titles again?
Yeah.
Does Brock and Big E have a rematch?
Yeah. It's weird because they would put Brock into his match, which made no sense at all, but I didn't really care because it was Brock. I was like, that's pretty cool then. And he won, which I was like, yeah, I was excited about it, but then, of course, it's Big E. But now it's like, when he fights Roman is going to be, like, yeah, for like the unification of titles, I guess?
If they go with that,
Yeah.
or I don't know. I mean, would Brock have beaten Roman if Roman wasn't out? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know where they would have gone. I would think he would have lost, and Paul Heyman would have been involved in that match somehow.
Right.
But now, see, I loved that storyline that was going on with Paul Heyman and Roman and Brock, and now you just have to cut it
Yeah. I have no
unless
idea
they
what
find
to
a
do.
way to write it back in.
My prediction, if I can
And
throw
also,
it out
it's
there.
like you hope that Roman's good.
Go for it.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, the main thing is making sure that Roman, who is immune compromised, is okay. But yeah, it was just like the whole main event was kind of a bummer. Roman being sick was a bummer. Big E having to drop the belt is a bummer. But what I was gonna say is this is just my prediction. How far out are we from Mania right now? How many months? Like 3, 4?
When's Mania? Beginning of April usually.
Yeah.
Or about 4.
Yeah.
I
So
can look up exactly when it is, but
I
What are we
thought
at,
the
37?
plan was to
Oh,
have
yeah,
Rock versus Roman. The Rock versus Roman. Is that
I
what
think that's next year.
next, like 2023?
I think that-
next year.
Was talked about, but it's next. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
2023.
So
So April 3rd, 2022 is this year's Mania.
well,
Yeah,
they're
almost-
they're
So we're basically
hinting
exactly 4 months.
Yeah.
they're hinting at something with Lashley and Lesnar. They're sprinkling seeds.
Or
for
no, 3
something
months,
there.
actually. Oh, you think Lashley and Lesnar in Mania? I mean, that's a big.
Or maybe
main
not.
event.
Maybe not Mania, but there's something brewing there.
You know what? It also makes me think about though. Remember how we always said that Roman as the champion is the champion? What about now?
Well, now if you do
Brock as
unification-
champion is a big deal too.
Well, you have a chance now to make the belt mean something again. So if they do a unification match at Mania, think about how important the title will finally be again. If you have one fucking champion.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's.
You can end this. Like, you could end this whole
I
thing.
guess.
Like, this whole 2 belts thing. We could finally, like... Because it's the perfect path.
How many times have they done that? They
Yeah.
do it, they take it away, they do it.
And they'll be like, here's another one in the
It's like the 4th time.
Here's the Galaxy title.
they-
I don't know.
They could bring back the world. They could bring back the
Milky
world
Way title.
heavyweight. Bring back the world heavyweight. Good with
Yeah.
that.
The classic one.
Yeah, right
Classic
here, baby.
Triple H one.
Big gold.
Bring back the original Brock title, the original undisputed
Yeah.
championship. That's my
And
favorite.
got this bitch right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
But yeah, so I don't know. Raw's tomorrow night, so I'm guessing Brock will probably be on it in some fashion, and maybe we can see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
If Brock is not going to feud with Roman at Mania, and Drew becomes better by then, you could always do Drew and Roman. That's a big main event.
Yeah.
Now that they're both on SmackDown. But I don't know. Guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
For me, Drew's
That
lost.
wrapped up day 1.
For me, Drew has lost.
Drew's what?
For me, Drew's lost his
Spark.
Yeah, but the report I read, and I don't know how accurate it is that they did the angle with him being injured because he has real neck injuries in real life that he has to go get taken care of.
Yeah.
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 That's what I'm saying. If he feels better by then, but I doubt it. I mean, it's a neck injury. It's not a little thing. So.
Well, does that wrap everything
But
up
that
for the
about
week,
wraps up
guys?
day 1. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, and we appreciate you all joining us for episode 17. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the PW Fan, and go to Instagram and follow Andy's Funko Pop collection at the 410 Fan Bros. Thanks again for listening, and join us next week on the PW Fan Podcast. Bye-bye.